Hello, and thank you for taking an opportunity to review this HRA employee guide. In this video, we are going to review how the HRA works, how to get the best out of your HRA, and who to contact in case you have any questions. First part of understanding your HRA is knowing what an HRA is. An HRA is essentially a pre-tax benefit that is set up by your employer to reimburse certain healthcare expenses. The easiest way to understand why we do an HRA is because it's a tax-free benefit. Okay, so you are not having this added to your income. This is totally separate. And because of that, because you're not paying taxes on the money that you're getting from your employer for this, you need to have an EOB for your expense because the IRS says you need to have documentation for these claims. An EOB is a document that always comes from your insurance company, so yours are always going to come from Cigna. The EOB from Cigna is just meant to let you know how much you might be liable to pay for an expense and how much that provider is allowed to charge you, which are the same number. Now, there is a claim form, but what we are trying to get around with this claim form is that we have technology that'll make it easier to use this benefit. Okay, and that technology we'll touch on in a moment. But again, when you see HRA, understand that is employer sponsored and that is separate from your income. Your HRA is structured as follows. It reimburses expenses towards your in-network deductible. It will reimburse your expenses at 75%, up to $1,500 for single coverage, or up to $3,000 for employee plus dependent coverage. So it's important to understand that if you have a $100 claim, you will end up getting $75 of that $100 claim paid out of this benefit, again, on a pre-tax basis, which is really great for everyone. Now, your HRA plan runs March 1st to February 28th. And at the end of that, you'll have a 90-day run out. Why is that important? That's important because let's say in late February, you go and get a medical expense that is applied towards your in-network deductible, and it's a claim for $100, like we said before. And unfortunately, the EOB doesn't generate, if your plan year ends on February 28th, 2023, and the EOB generates on March 15th of 2023, that date of service was still in this plan year. So you should still be reimbursed for that expense. And what that run out period does for you is it says, okay, just because your EOB wasn't ready in time for February 28th, the end of the plan year, that doesn't mean that you should be penalized for it. Instead, we built out that 90-day safety net at the end of your plan year. So again, as long as the expense happens within this plan year, you have 90 days to submit. And again, after May 29th, that is the deadline. Okay, so after May 29th, you are not going to be able to submit any claims for this plan year. So please make sure that May 29th, 2023 is well before that day you have all your claims taken care of. All right, so again, works towards your Cigna benefit, in-network deductible, reimburses at 75% up to those numbers. Very important to understand because your HRA works in two different ways. It's going to work for your medical claims that apply towards your deductible and your prescription claims that apply towards your deductible. Right? Let's talk about the medical claims first. Okay. The easiest way to get reimbursed for your medical claims that apply towards your deductible is to use a Claims Express service. So Claims Express is a voluntary service. Say it again, it's a voluntary service that you can sign up for to make sure that we automatically get your EOBs. Okay. And the reason that this is a really nice service is because if you don't sign up for Claims Express, what happens is anytime you have an expense, you have to take time out of your day to submit for that expense, right? For that medical deductible expense. But instead of doing that, Claims Express offers you the ability for OCA to pull your claims automatically from Cigna. Okay. And the process is actually pretty straightforward. First thing you do is you need to have a Cigna login. Okay. Once you make your username and password for Cigna, all right, you will make your My OCA portal. All right. After you make your My OCA portal, you will go ahead and connect on Claims Express. Now, to make your My OCA portal is actually very straightforward. Okay, to make your My OCA portal, you just have to go to oca125.com/OCA-account. We actually have a browser up here to show you how that registration process looks. All right, so again, this is oca125.com/OCA-account. This is inside the guide that will be forwarded out with this video. And as we look at this browser link, we will see that if you scroll down, there's the member portal and you have the My OCA portal. When you click on this, it engages the registration here. So you look to see that if you are already signed up, you will be able to put in your username and password. However, if you haven't registered yet, all you have to do, again, after clicking My OCA portal on the member piece, is just click register down here. And the registration process is 4 simple steps. The first step, setting up your username and password and inputting your demographic information. Right? So when you set up your username and password, you must use the rules on this right-hand side. And when you're inputting your demographic information, just remember that if you go by Mike at work, but your full name is Michael, as an example, and you put Mike in this first name, that's not going to allow you to register because we already have all your demographic information for the insurance purposes. We just need to make sure that it's you that's trying to access this money. So again, please make sure that you put in your legal name when it comes to your first and last name. When it gets to employer name, you can just type in long here, put the extra letter in just to make sure that it popped up. But again, employer name, you just start typing out your employer's name, and your employee ID is your social with no dashes or spaces. So again, you're just making your username, password, entering demographic info, putting in your employer name. Again, we already have your social security number on file. We're just trying to make sure that this is you accessing your account. And then when we click accept terms of use, we would go on to next. Now, unfortunately, since we're not actually registering in this portal right now, we can't go next, but what we can tell you is that step 2 is just asking you for security questions. So you will pick 4 security questions. And step 3 is verifying those security questions. And step 4 is just verifying all the information you put in was correct. So again, you're really only putting in information for steps 1 and 2 because steps 3 and 4 are just verifying the information that you put in. Once you get past step 4, you'll be onto your dashboard. Okay. And what we went ahead and did for you was we made sure to grab exactly what your dashboard should look like when you log in. Okay. So when you log into your dashboard, this should be what you see. You should see a Cigna HRA benefit in here. This person is on family coverage as an example. And again, if you already have your Cigna login, you're over 50% of the way there after you get to this point with the login. So again, this is your OCA portal. When you click this highlighted menu up here, you should see a little menu that has a couple of options. And when you click I want to, it should give you a Claims Express registration option. From there, you'll just click that Claims Express registration option, where you will be offered in this window to click Connect Your Plans. Once you click Connect Your Plans, it's going to open a separate secure window for you where you can plug in your Cigna username and password. Okay, all these steps will likely take you less than 10 minutes to complete, and it will save you having to submit for claims throughout the plan year. Super useful, super easy way to use your benefit. Okay, so again, all you're doing in that example is clicking the Connect Your Plans on this tab, and you are going to be able to link Cigna with OCA, so we automatically pull over your EOBs. This is a sample explanation of benefits, or EOB, as I said before. So in this example, we have a deductible expense, right, towards $160. Okay, and our responsibility, as it reads on the EOB, says $160. Okay, there's a couple of reasons we throw the sample EOB in here. The first one is because it can be confusing if you know that 75% of your deductible expense is being covered by your employer, but you see a full expense on your EOB. Okay, that's why it's important to understand that when you see this $160, that's what the total deductible expense is. Okay, so in this example, you would be getting reimbursed $120 because that would be 75% of this expense. Okay, and then the other 25% would be your responsibility to pay, whether it's with a debit card of your own or with some money that you have. So again, if you see an EOB and it says for in this example, $160, that's the total deductible expense. And you're getting 75% of that out of this benefit, which is very generous. Okay, so as we continue with this EOB, the other reason that we throw this in here is because if you see $160 in this example, and it says patient responsibility $160, and you did your due diligence and you did what you were supposed to do, which was make sure that you went to an in-network provider, okay, and your bill comes out to anything higher than that 160 in this example, then that's not correct. Then if your EOB doesn't match your bill, okay, that's not good. That's not correct from your provider. Okay, most of the time when you call them in that instance and you say, my EOB said $160, but your bill says $200, and that's not what's on my EOB, they will, again, 9 times out of 10, they will say, oh wow, that was a mistake on our end. We're going to correct and resend the bill out to you. So again, even though you can set up this automated feature, it really is worth just taking a look at your EOB to make sure that you're being billed properly for your expenses. So we talked about the medical claims over there, right? So we talked about the setting up Claims Express. We talked about how getting onto the portal helps with that whole process, and that's for medical claims, okay? But for your prescription deductible claims, right? For going to the pharmacy and picking up a prescription that's subject to your deductible, you have been provided an OCA debit card, okay? And that OCA debit card is linked to your employer's account in order to help you pay for prescriptions at the time of service, right? So in this example, if you were using this OCA card, and this is a very important piece that you're going to want to make sure you pay special attention to, is you go to the pharmacy, you give them your Cigna card first to make sure that they have that on file and that they could run the applicable discount for you. And then when they ask you for payment, let's say the prescription costs $10. They ask you for payment for the $10. You take the OCA card, and even though it says debit, you're going to have them run it as a credit card, okay? So you have them run it as a credit card, and it's going to pay 75% of that expense. So if it was a $10 prescription, that means that their machine is going to take $7.50 off of that prescription from this card. And all you have to do is pay that $2.50 that's left in this example with your own personal funds. Okay, so using that card is fantastic for effectively getting 75% off of your prescription deductible for those expenses, right? So really nice, generous setup by your employer. However, keep in mind that when you use this card, most pharmacies, if you go to Walmart, if you go to ShopRite, if you go to CVS, these companies all have barcode systems in place that talk to OCA and let us know that you got an eligible prescription. Okay. If you go to a small mom and pop pharmacy, you might actually end up in a situation where you are going to be asked for documentation for your prescription expense. Okay. And in that example, you would get an email saying, we see you swiped your card for $7.50. However, we don't have any documentation to back it up. All you have to do in that instance is hit reply to the email and take a picture of the prescription stub that's stapled to the front of your bag. When you hit send on that email, you don't have to say, hi, how are you? It's just a computer, it doesn't have any feelings. You can go ahead and hit send on that email, and that prescription tag will line up with your prescription expense, and we'll be able to resolve your transaction right there. Really super easy. And again, you're really likely not even going to be asked to do that because of the barcode system that's in place with the chain pharmacies. So the only reason that we tell you this is because it's always a good idea to keep an eye out for an email from OCA, just in case we need to reach out for anything related to the HRA benefit. Should you not want to sign up for Claims Express, should you not want to use your debit card, you're more than welcome to file your claims manually. The reason we don't suggest doing so is because, in truth, it takes a lot of time out of your day as opposed to setting up these semi-automated features, right? So if you want to file claims manually, you can always grab a paper claim form off of the OCA website. You don't even have to log in. You just go to OCA125.com and go to resources and member, and there should be forms and guides where you can print the HRA claim form. Okay, and you can print the claim form, fill it out, and mail it or email it to OCA with the accompanying EOB or prescription tag, depending on your claim. You can always additionally file an online claim or file a mobile claim. So again, if you're already filing online claims, sign up for Claims Express. Make that process easier for you, right? We walked through it before. All you have to do is make sure you're logged into Cigna. If you're filing an online claim, you're already logged into OCA. So instead of filing these every time you have a claim, set up that Claims Express, right? Take a minute or two, set it up so you don't have to do it throughout the year. The mobile claim form is specifically great for prescription expenses because you could take a picture of that prescription tag and you can send it in. Again, if you are using the OCA debit card, you don't have to do this for prescription expenses, right? So it is, even though these are options, it really is advantageous for you for your medical and prescription expenses to be using Claims Express for the medical ones and be using your debit card for the prescription deductible expenses. All right. One of our last points is we have OCA Mobile. OCA Mobile is the entire online platform on the palm of your hand. The only feature that OCA Mobile does not have is Claims Express. Okay, you have to register for Claims Express on your desktop. All right, and the nice feature that OCA Mobile has to make up for the fact that it can't do Claims Express is that it has a smart account where you can plug in your healthcare information, and additionally, it'll give you feedback on that healthcare information. And what it'll try to do is help you spread that HRA money a little longer, right? Because the wider you can spread that HRA money, the longer you can stretch that HRA money, the less you're coming out of your pocket, right? If you're only paying 25% of what your expense is while you're on this HRA, the longer you can stretch that money, the better. So again, it is a really nice online, or rather mobile, benefit for you that you could utilize throughout the year and make sure that you get the most out of your dollar. One of our primary focuses at OCA, and this is our last point here, is we are always on communication. And what that means is that we are sending you email confirmations when we pull claims on Claims Express. We are sending you email confirmations when your card is used. We are sending you confirmations of how this benefit is working. You should never be surprised on the HRA benefit. You should always be informed proactively as opposed to being reactive. If you find that you don't feel this is your experience, if you find that you're not getting the most out of what this benefit is, contact our office. Contact our 609-514-0777 number or toll free at 855-OCA-0777, or even email us at service@oca125.com. If you call into our office, you will receive somebody on the line that knows the system, that is from our New Jersey office and understands your situation. Right? That there's a lot of variables that we have seen throughout the years, and we are always happy to be a benefit partner for any of them. So again, OCA is your benefit partner for this benefit. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. Should you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to these phone numbers or this email to make sure you get the most out of this HRA benefit.